Hi friends, Warzone 2 versus Apex Legends. Which is better? Warzone 2 just dropped, so I've got a comparison with Apex Legends in today's video. If you're one of the people that's bored of Apex Legends at the moment, this video might help give you an idea if Warzone 2 is worth giving a go. Let me know in the comments which game you enjoy more, Warzone 2 or Apex Legends. And I want to start today's comparison by looking at the looting. So Warzone 2 has switched up the looting experience from what it was in Warzone 1. In Warzone 2 you now have a backpack, and when you kill someone you can loot from their backpack, plus you can even upgrade your backpack size, something that wasn't really there in Warzone 1. Does this sound familiar? Well, it is, because in Apex Legends you'll know we've got the backpack system, and looting is actually very similar to how it is in Warzone 2. One thing I would say is that I don't like how you can't move while looting in Warzone compared to Apex Legends. Plus, the picking up of loot in Warzone 2 just doesn't feel as smooth as it does in Apex Legends. So all that rapid speed looting you can do in Apex, it's not quite the same in Warzone 2. And therefore, in terms of scoring, I think it's fair to say, in my personal opinion, Warzone gets a 7 out of 10. But for Apex Legends, I think the looting's pretty good, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Let's look at end zones next. Warzone 2 has the same experience as Apex in terms of having a shrinking zone of gas that will slowly kill you if you're caught in it. However, Warzone 2 has switched it up a little bit, in that the end circles can now be split up into 3 different circles, which then merge into one. I don't really know how I feel about it yet. I don't think it's quite as smooth as it probably should be, especially when it becomes 3 and then goes into 1. However, it does give you a bit of a different feeling to Apex, and the good thing is that it isn't always 3 circles. They do mix it up, so sometimes you could just have one end circle without those 3 split. And I do like that variety in Warzone's end circles, although I would say I'm not really keen on how Warzone 2's zone closes very quickly, rapidly at the same pace, and also that whole moving effect of the zone I'm not a big fan of in Warzone 2. So I think in terms of scoring we can give Warzone 2 a 6 here, and for Apex Legends I think a 7's fair, because I do feel Apex is slightly more balanced than Warzone 2. Let's look at pacing next. This is where there's quite a big difference. The pacing of Warzone 2 feels way slower than Apex Legends. If you're an Apex player, imagine Stormpoint, but way slower. You can definitely get some fun early fights in Warzone 2, but my experience is, so far it's a map built for 150 players, but for some reason the lobby never really fills to that many players. So you often end up with a massive map, but not quite enough players to fill that massive map. You just have a lot of dead time in between, where you're kind of running between points and looting before you get closer to the end zones, and that's where fighting picks up again. Obviously in Apex Legends, if you compare it to this, it's definitely a lot faster paced. Now I know there are some issues with Broken Moon and Stormpoint where it can be a bit slow, but personally I don't think it's anywhere near as slow as Warzone 2 is. Scoring wise, I think Warzone 2 gets a 6 here, and Apex Legends gets an 8. It might have been a 9 for Apex Legends if Broken Moon's pacing wasn't so weird. Now obviously pacing ties closely in with maps. So let's look at maps next. Warzone 2 at the moment has less variety in terms of the number of maps compared to Apex Legends. In Apex, obviously we've got 5 maps, 3 of which are currently in rotation this season. On the other hand, Warzone 2 just has 1 map, El Mazrah. Now I would say Warzone 2's map has more diversity in a single map compared to any single Apex Legends map, and I do like that they've incorporated a lot of Call of Duty classical maps into areas on this one Battle Royale map. So if you're an OG COD fan, you might definitely enjoy some of the areas on the Warzone 2 map. If you prefer smaller, more intense maps with a lot more consistent fighting, then you're still probably going to prefer Apex Legends in terms of maps. In terms of scoring, I think it's fair to give Warzone 2 an 8, because there are definitely some great places on the new map. And we'll also give Apex Legends an 8. The next one is movement. You'll probably never find a game that has the amazing movement mechanics of Apex Legends, aside from Titanfall maybe. For sure, Warzone 2 does have some smooth movement thanks to it using the Modern Warfare 2 system, so compared to most games and even other Call of Duty games, I think the movement is fairly smooth. It's just not on the level of Apex Legends. So if we look at the scoring, I would give Warzone 2 a 7, and Apex Legends I'm going to give a 10. Let's talk about AI next. Warzone 2 has a lot more of AI incorporated into the game compared to the original Warzone. You've got things like strongholds and black site fights which you can now engage in Warzone 2 to take on enemies for rewards, and that concept is actually kind of similar to Apex Legends. If you think about the prowlers, the spiders, the flyers, the armories, the cargo drones, and even the Marvin units, these are all interactive AI which you can engage to get rewards and loot. So conceptually the two are very similar, although the jailer in the gulag is super annoying. He's way too overpowered and he just interferes way too much in the gulag fights. At least that's the experience I've had so far in Warzone 2. So overall, in terms of AI, I think I'd give both games about a 7 out of 10. The final topic I wanted to cover for both games is regarding the variety of modes. You've got this new DMZ mode in Warzone 2. Personally, I don't think DMZ is quite as fun as I thought it would be. I was hoping for something a little bit more gritty like Escape from Tarkov. However, you'll now see that they're really trying to distance themselves from a comparison with Escape from Tarkov. They're basically trying to make DMZ its own thing. On the Apex side, the only other game mode we have constantly is arenas. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of arenas. I think it gets a little bit boring very quickly, but I do know there are plenty of fans of it. The other good thing about Apex is it does tend to bring 1 or 2 LTMs a season. The unfortunate thing about the LTMs in Apex is they only last for 2 weeks. Anyway, in terms of scoring, I think that means Warzone 2 actually wins it here in terms of variety of modes. So I'm giving Warzone 2 an 8, and Apex Legends I'm giving a 6. And there you have it. That's my comparison of the key components of Warzone 2 versus Apex Legends. As we've been doing scores throughout this video, let's have a look at what those total scores are. Warzone 2 hits a total score of 49, while Apex Legends gets a total score of 55. So Apex Legends wins it for me. However, if you want to try something different, then you can clearly see Warzone 2 is a pretty good option to try. As it's just launched, there is a lot of hype around it, and lobbies are filling fairly quickly, so it's definitely worth checking out if you're getting bored of Apex Legends and you want a different battle royale to try. Anyway, let me know how you would score these games in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.